Okay, that looks a lot better.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, we were dropping about every frame possible, so you probably didn't see too much of us. We're still dropping a couple, but that should be all right. It's definitely not as bad. We are Gamers Digest. We are a fan podcast. We talk about gaming news, reviews, pretty much anything we can think of in the world of gaming. Sometimes movies, uh, but mostly gaming.
Mostly games, yeah.
This week we've got a pretty packed show. We're talking about some new games like Ghost Recon and XCOM coming up. Then we're also going to go over what we played, which actually is Ghost Recon, Tekken 6.
Yeah, Tekken 6.
The deep strategy thriller game of Angry Birds. We've got some pretty big news that started out as rumors when I first did the show notes and turned into news by the time we did the show. So we'll go ahead and get started. What did you play this week?
This week, I played some more of the same, some XCOM. Let's see, it's such a fun game, and I could just drop into it at any time. So I'm working on a game where I think I'm like 9 months into it, and my extraterrestrial combat unit is still going pretty strong. I haven't lost a whole lot of funding, but it's just so fun. And you can change the name of the soldiers. I can name them after my friends, my brothers, my family. And, if they get killed, it's kind of funny. But,
it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's sad but funny. And then I just stop the game and reload it. My soldiers are so souped up because I kind of cheat.
Right.
I've also played a little bit of when I'm over at my brother's. I play a lot of Tekken. We have a nice like a 60-inch TV, 1080p HD, and we just go at it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Tekken 6. When I first got it, I wasn't too impressed with it. I believe it was the second PS3 game I ever got.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. I was hyping it up so much, and I didn't like it at first. But now, after some time, after the dust has settled, it was a game that I really enjoy playing. I also played some Angry Birds. I fired up my old droid, the very first droid, the Motorola droid, and I have it on there, and I've just played it, just tinker around with it a little bit while I was at work, in between calls. That Angry Birds Seasons is so hard.
Is it?
It is very hard.
I have the new one. It's actually the Angry Birds Space. I think that's what it's called.
What?
Yeah, you should check that one out. That one's cool because you actually it deals with gravitational fields and stuff.
Oh, that is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'll have to
black
show you
holes
that.
and stuff.
There's black holes and stuff too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you'll have 3 planets laid out, and they each have their own gravitational field. So what you can do is you can kind of whip them around, and
take out those pigs.
Yep, space pigs.
Space pigs, awesome.
So and you played.
I also played. I've been wanting to play Back to the Future Episode 2, and I've just been slacking. I haven't done it yet. I'm really just waiting for Episode 2 for The Walking Dead. That's really the adventure game that I want to play. Back to the Future is good, but it's not a good enough substitute.
It's not good enough. Yeah. That's all right. Well, this week I played a lot of Ghost Recon. I finally finished that. It was pretty good. It's actually what I'm going to be doing my review on. So I'll say most of that. I did finish Lollipop Chainsaw 2. I apparently got a lot done this week, according to me, not according to the wife. Lollipop Chainsaw was good. You watched the end of that.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
We talked about that last episode. It's a pretty crazy game.
That is a very crazy game. Hands down, the craziest.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and finish I guess try to get as much of the collectibles as I can and maybe get more of the trophies, but some of the trophies are pretty rough. I played World of Warcraft too. I had some friends come back, so we kind of got together and I kind of helped them out. Diablo I didn't play too much of because they put out a big patch yesterday, so I didn't really want to do too much when everything was changing the next day. The last game I have on the list is actually a game that I want to show you. It's actually a World War II game called Arma 2,
Okay.
but the catch is somebody made this mod. It's called DayZ, not Jay-Z, but DayZ.
Okay.
And it's like a realistic zombie survival horror shooter game.
Wow.
But you have to play with other people at all times. So pretty much what it is it's more based on survival than action. So you can go like an hour or 2 hours with almost nothing happening, but you have stats that you have to keep track of in order to basically stay alive. It's sort of like Resident Evil meets The Sims.
Okay. Nice. That
So
sounds
like
pretty
you
cool.
have food, you have a blood level. Obviously, if you bleed out, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
You have like a health level. So the whole game revolves around basically going town to town and scrounging up food, like cans of beans, stuff like that,
Mhm.
and weapons. But you're also competing against other players too.
Oh, neat.
So you could be walking around and you got zombies to deal with, obviously, and all the normal stuff comes into play. Like if you get too cold, you can catch a cold, and if you start to cough,
You can alert zombies.
right,
That's
sneeze.
pretty cool.
So, and then if you actually fire a weapon that isn't suppressed, you're like ringing the dinner bell.
Yeah.
As
Cool.
one guy online put it. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I actually just started that.
And so the game is Arma 2.
Yes,
Okay.
but it's just a mod. And
Okay. How old is that game? Is it fairly new or?
it's newer.
Okay.
So, but it started off as like a small indie game, and from there it expanded. And then when this mod dropped, the guy that made the game, or the company, I guess I should say, because it's more than one guy, but it was like one guy that made the mod. But the guy who made the game said that he sold like 3 times as many copies after this mod's come out. So it's like really
Wow.
taken off.
Nice.
And what's cool is
What is everybody's fascination with zombies?
they're fun, slow-moving targets.
I guess. Yeah. I guess
So I might be doing a review on that eventually. There's a lot to it. Obviously, when you're dealing with other players, if somebody kills you, they can run up and take all your stuff.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
That would suck. Remember that happened to me on PSO once.
The old school PK.
The old- yeah,
MMOs.
that's when it first started.
Yep.
That's when player killing on consoles first started. There's this guy and you had to be a hacker in order to do it. And somebody he came into our room and assassinated me. All my money and all my weapons just came out and he just took it all. I'll never forget that.
Oh, man. That's rough. All right, well, I guess we'll jump into news and rumors.
Rumors.
News and rumors.
Somebody's phone's going off, I guess.
Yeah. Somebody who kissed a girl.
Yep. All right, well, you're going to start us off with some news.
All right, I'm going to start us off. Microsoft announces a new tablet called the Surface. Now, I mean, this is pretty cool. I was surprised that Microsoft hadn't jumped onto the whole tablet thing.
Yeah, they were kind of lacking in that.
Like they were latecomers. Basically, it's two new. Well, this started out as like a rumor.
Right. This
Yeah.
was the one that started as a rumor because some documents came out that showed like a fake,
Like a
almost like like a portable console that you could hook controllers into, and there was like all these outrageous claims and stuff.
yeah.
But
It was-
since then, it's become pretty much just a tablet.
Yeah, it's basically a tablet. There's two different versions. There's the light version, which comes with Windows RT,
Mhm.
and then there's the Pro version, which comes with Windows 8. Now they both have the same screen size, 10.6 inches,
That's not bad.
full HD display. Well, there's a clear type HD display and a full HD display. I mean, really, people aren't going to tell a difference. I'm assuming when they look at it, but they're the full PC. These are being packaged as full PCs now, so they can like play, PC games. And,
Right. They're like the ultimate in between.
Yeah, the
Or
ultimate
the
in
successor
between.
of the netbooks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, this is pretty interesting. I wonder if it's going to have like mouse support, maybe like wireless mouse support, so you can play some of these games. You know.
Maybe.
The differences between the two really go with the specs. There's we're talking 32 gigabyte hard drive compared 32 and a 64 gigabyte hard drive compared to a 64 and 128 gigabyte hard drive. Let's see, the USB 2.0 versus 3.0. Little things like that. The thickness, but the screen size is the same. They both come with a kickstand type stand, so you can and a keyboard that you can make it into little hybrid tablets. I mean, pretty cool. But there is no wireless. There are no ports to hook your controllers into. This isn't a Xbox Surface. But what's cool is that this is coming from Microsoft. So we can definitely look forward to some kind of what is that called again? Like
the integrated.
The integrated with the 360. I forget. I can't.
I can't think of the name either.
But man, I really want to know what it's called now. But yeah, this is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it.
What do you think about them pushing a tablet now? They're coming in pretty late in the game to the tablet. Do you think it'll sell?
It might. I mean, depending on the pricing. I haven't seen any prices yet.
Yeah.
The market's already saturated with tablets. I looked into them, and there's like a huge saturation of tablets already. So.
Right, and everybody there's a tablet for like every operating system except Windows right now.
Yeah.
And not to down them, but Windows 7 phones haven't really been selling that well, and the new Windows phones that use the Metro interface, which is what Windows 8 is going to use, aren't really selling that well either. So hopefully they can pull it off. I'm rooting for Microsoft. Excuse me. Dinner's coming back. But I'm not a huge Microsoft supporter, but they make the number one most used PC operating system. Exactly. They have one of the best selling console systems for the last 7 years, I guess.
Yeah.
So they must be doing something right. So I hope they can do it. This would be really good for somebody like you, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this would be pretty cool.
Especially with that latch-in keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the full-size keyboard.
So I get the full-size keyboard. I can have it on the go.
Right.
And I can play PC games. I might be able to jump on. I might be able to jump on Star Wars: The Old Republic when it becomes free to play.
Stealing stories. All right. Well, I'll go with the next story then. This is actually not a huge story, but it's something that's kind of cool. The BioShock Ultimate Rapture Edition is coming. It was actually leaked by the British Association that rates games. Like RES.
BRSB.
Yeah, something like that. Basically what it is it's BioShock 1 and 2 with all the DLC. Now, BioShock 2, most of the DLC was multiplayer, whereas BioShock 1, all the DLC is single player because they didn't have multiplayer. The tricky thing with this is there's nothing talked about it in the States yet. There's no price set. But it is kind of cool, and the reason I put this in here is because you've never played BioShock.
Yeah, I've never played BioShock.
And if you could get BioShock 1 and 2 for, $40 with all the downloadable content,
and then the next one.
Right,
yeah.
and they're definitely going to push it before, I guess, what's the next one, Infinite?
Yeah.
Comes out. So that's going to be pretty cool. I actually wish companies would do this more now. This is the main reason I put this story in here. Because it's a good idea. Like, if there's a sequel coming out and you have games on the current console, like God of War is kind of tricky because God of War 1 and 2 came out for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
So, they said, HD collection, that's easy. But, like, the BioShock games, and we're getting to this point now, like, Gears of War for Xbox is a good thing.
Yeah.
They should take 1 and 2, put it in a bundle, sell it for $40, or $30.
I think there is a bundle.
Is there?
I think there might be a bundle for. I know there's one for Uncharted.
Right.
I have to look into that again. I think there is a bundle game for Gears of War.
Yeah, because I do remember the Uncharted one now, but that's the only one I can pull from memory. I don't remember seeing like a kill zone or
Yeah.
stuff like that. So maybe companies will do this a little more now. That'd actually be pretty cool. But if you can get both Bioshocks for $30, would you pick it up?
Oh yeah, sure. I remember playing the demo for the first Bioshock, and
They're good games. I mean, they're
Yeah.
good first-person shooter games.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely pick them up. All right, you got some bad news for us.
Unfortunately, I have some bad news. The Tony Hawk developer Neversoft is going to be working on the next Call of Duty game.
You sound like you were giving a eulogy.
Yeah, I did. Right now, there aren't any details for this new game, but what is this? Maybe every 6 months we'll get a new Call of Duty game instead of every year.
Yeah, well, the reason I put that on there was because I was thinking, that's 3 developers on Call of Duty games.
Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and now Neversoft.
And Neversoft, right?
Yeah.
And typically what they've been doing is they've been doing...
Trading off each year.
Right. Well, you throw a third one in there, you're definitely going to see one less than a year. So you're thinking they're pushing towards a half a year?
Like a summer release and a fall release?
Right. So I was thinking that, they're going to try to milk it for as much as they can, especially after that story we did last week where Vivendi's thinking about selling Activision.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe Activision's trying to milk out at least one more Call of Duty before they sell them.
Yeah. Hey, maybe. It makes sense, but I mean, do we really need any more Call of Duty games?
I
mean, like...
Yes. Yes, we need at least 3 more before people realize they're bad, and 2 more after that so people can make fun of it.
I mean, I remember Call of Duty when it was, when they were good, like, World War II games.
Right.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was pretty awesome.
Right.
It was fun. The multiplayer was solid. It was awesome. Then Modern Warfare 2 came out, and it just added a little bit to what was already pretty much perfect.
They're more like expansion packs than actual games.
Yeah,
they're as much crap as I give Call of Duty. They're not bad games by any stretch of the means. And
the story mode's really short. I mean, really,
right.
Yeah, it's really multiplayer.
Yeah, and like the special ops modes and the horde type mode add longevity, but I don't feel like they add enough to push the genre any further. Like, I think when Modern Warfare came out, it kind of pushed the realistic, well, I don't even want to say that, but the modern era shooter in a good direction. And then they were like, all right, we broke the ground, we're done.
Yeah, because we were getting tired of those World War II games.
Right.
Yeah.
Which also was Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So next we will see Call of Duty Space Marine.
I mean, Battlefield had done a futuristic game.
I remember that. That one was really good.
Yeah,
I really liked that one.
I'm more of a fan of the Battlefield games when it comes to first-person shooters. I like the versatility that they all have. I like they're just a lot more fun. You have more people playing too.
Right.
And you can it's a lot more alive. It feels like an actual battlefield.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Neversoft, they're the Tony Hawk guys.
They're the Guitar Hero guys.
And Guitar Hero, yeah. I mean, what do they know? The last game they did Gun, and that game sucked.
Yeah,
I played it for
a shooter game.
Yeah, I played it for like 2 hours, and then just gave up on it. It was that bad.
That's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played Gun. I kind of stayed away from it. So
you're a smart man.
It didn't interest me in the least. But the Guitar Hero games, weren't they the ones that picked it up when it started to go downhill?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe this is like a trend here. Maybe Call of Duty's starting to go downhill.
Maybe, like I said, maybe this is their swan song. This is them trying to push out as many as they can before people catch
Yeah.
wise.
So then what's gonna happen? Well, then what are we gonna fall back on?
Madden. You can't laugh. You buy that every year.
I buy it used every year.
Well, that's even worse. Then the people who make Madden don't get any money.
Well, it should be what they should do is release a game and then just have us, download like a new roster.
Hmm.
Download a new roster. I mean, the graphics pretty much stay the same
Yeah.
every year. They just change up little things like, oh, now you don't have to hold the button down in order to sprint. Just little things like that, and the roster is different, and the commentary. I mean, let's just download updates to each game each year, which has new commentary and new rosters, and that's about it.
Right.
I mean, there should just be a game instead of Madden 12, 13. There should just be a game called Madden, and we just update the game, and their cost can go down when they can just put the cost towards the game, or each year go towards recording better color commentary and just doing all the little stats and statistics and physics and stuff like that, and then we just update it.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I'd actually really like to see a new type of Madden game, something like that, like where each year you don't really have to buy the full game again.
Mm-hmm.
You could like pay an upgrade price or something,
Yeah.
and you get all the new stuff. But I think Madden changes and it doesn't change each year. Like this year, they're changing a lot of the physics and stuff, whereas the graphics have kind of gotten the main focus the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
They're also changing a couple commentators.
Yeah, I did hear that. So we don't get the same commentators
Yeah.
that we've had for 3 years.
Exactly.
They
I mean, and
re-record.
they've actually they don't even re-record it. Sometimes they use the exact.
They just
same,
reuse it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just reuse it. They just reuse it. And they'll just add. You can tell the stark difference when they have like older Madden games with dialogue cut in with the newer one. It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible.
And going towards the line, Tim Tebow.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, as you hinted earlier, BioWare is actually playing with the option of going free to play for Star Wars: The Old Republic. The game's been out for a little over 6 months now. They haven't announced their recent subscribers, but they lost.
Probably worse.
Maybe they lost over 400,000 the last quarter that they announced it, which was, I guess, January to whatever 4 months is April. So they said it's very early in the planning stages. If they do it, they're currently just considering it. So it's something to keep an eye on. I still play it. I'm actually still subscribed, but they gave people a bunch of free time. The current thing going on is they're actually having people merge servers. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Like servers are definitely empty, so they're moving them.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
When MMO goes free to play,
Mhm.
how do they get any kind of profit? Do they have like a gold subscription and a silver or something like that?
It really depends. It depends how they do free to play. There's many different models, and many different companies each say their model works the best. Typically, what happens is when games were pay to play and then go to free to play, what they do is they still keep a subscription, but I guess the best way I start from the beginning is if you download the game and you don't pay a subscription, you have a base game where they put stuff behind blocks that you have to pay for. Like say you can only be the Jedi Knight class, you can't be the other Jedi class, which is
Okay.
like the
Master and
like the Yoda type character versus like the Mace Windu type character.
okay.
More with the Force and less with the lightsaber. Whereas if you pay the subscription, everything's unlocked. And there's more to it than that. Like they'll put classes. They don't generally put gear. Most companies are smart enough to avoid any actual like gameplay affecting things. Like you can't buy like stronger armor and stuff.
Okay.
Some do, and it's called pay to win. But most companies are good with it. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out in the coming months. So all right, you've got the next story.
All right, the next story is Street Fighter X Tekken headed to mobile.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool and interesting. This is Capcom's second game, I believe, to
Mhm.
come to a mobile device. They did Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that. Marvel vs. Capcom 3,
Yeah.
and that was out for mobile devices. Apple's. How do you say it? iOS, right?
iOS.
iOS. See,
It's-
I'm a camera guy, and they're EOS cameras. So every time I see that, I say I want to say iOS. But yeah, iOS device.
As far as I know, it's iOS because it's Apple's operating system. So
Okay.
OS.
Yeah, iOS. Not bad.
I think so.
But so the game is only compatible with iOS systems 5 and higher. So that includes
That's-
support for iPhone 4 and 4S, iPod Touch, 4th generation or later, and the iPad 2 and the new iPad.
And also the 3GS.
Oh, and the 3GS?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not the 3G, but the 3GS.
Okay.
Because I have the 3GS and I know I have iOS 5.
Nice. So I you know what I really want to do? I want to see this game in action because it is a touchscreen.
The Marvel versus, I think it was Marvel versus Capcom, worked really well, and Street Fighter 4 worked really well. Marvel versus Capcom got a little bit of flack, if I think that's the right one, because I remember them showing the touchscreen. You could set it up so all you have to do is just keep hitting the guy, and it'll actually hit him. So it's kind of weird, but
Now, and 2 people can play this.
not on the same screen.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay, I guess that was what was really.
Yeah, no, 2 people can't play it on the same screen. You just have to, you can do like Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So,
All right, that's interesting. I mean,
do you think they'll make you pay for all the characters?
so you're already gonna have the characters, but you're gonna have to pay for some of them.
Oh,
You know how they do.
they'll be included with the download.
Yeah, they'll be included with the download.
That's pretty cool though that they're porting like major games to mobile. We're getting closer and closer to
Full
them.
integration.
Yeah. Huh.
Kitties.
All right. Well, I've got the last news story, and this one's actually kind of a fun story. And I actually got another story to go with it. But Max Payne 3 actually has an interesting way of dealing with cheaters that cheat on their server and get caught. What they do is they actually put the cheaters into their own server so they can only play with other cheaters. So this is actually kind of funny. Like, rather than ban them outright, they say, well, you can still play your game, but you actually have to play against other cheaters. Now, there's a little bit of leeway. Like, if you get reported and you are found, I guess, guilty,
Yeah.
you can appeal it, and if you appeal it, from there, what they'll do is they'll look into it and say, okay, well, you're not really a cheater. You can go back to the main pool. The problem is if you get caught a second time and they say, oh yeah, you were cheating, you can't appeal it the second time. The second time you're done.
You're permanently.
With the cheaters, they're being really cautious about this because basically their quote was, we don't ban players for using legitimate tactics to which some players may object, such as camping. So that's kind of cool that they at least outline
Yeah.
that, you can use cheap strategies and not get banned as long as you're just not outright cheating.
Yeah.
And this is actually across all platforms, so that's kind of cool there. What do you think about like alternative punishment?
I mean, I think that's interesting, but my first experience, or my only real experience with cheating and competitive gaming, like shooters and stuff like that, was like on the PC, where there was like the headshot hacks and stuff in like Counter-Strike, where people could just kill you in one shot and stuff like that. And
There's a lot of
aimbot. That's what it's called.
yeah.
Aimbot.
There's a lot of hacking involved in Modern Warfare, like Call of Duty games get
Really?
targeted a lot. Yeah.
Really?
So
And that's on the console, not on the
Mhm.
PC.
well,
Wow.
both, but
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, I always figured it would be easier to cheat on the PC than on
oh
the
yeah,
console.
oh yeah. And a
'Cause,
lot
you know,
of
like we don't have game genies and stuff anymore. So I'm like,
where'd they go?
Yeah, yeah. What happened to all that? So I mean, I didn't really know cheating was a huge thing. You know, I remember in Halo 2 or 3, I think it might have been 3, where like you can use a certain weapon and like there's like a glitch in the game where you can like kill somebody
Right.
using a pistol or something if you did something weird.
Right.
Yeah. It's a little.
And all those kinds of things are kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
I never thought that there was some outright cheating going on, but I mean this is news to me, and I think it's pretty interesting that it's being addressed like this.
now, Serious Sam 3, this is kind of the other story I had for you. Serious Sam 3 had an interesting way of dealing with cheaters, in the fact that if they caught you cheating, what they would do is, this was more for pirating than cheating, but if they caught you using a pirated game, it would pull a monster, basically it pull an unkillable giant pink monster that would just go around and kill you every time you played. So theoretically, you could still play the game, but you would die a lot.
Wow.
So I think companies coming up with alternative ways to punish cheaters is actually kind of cool. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what else they come up with. All right. Well, up next we've got reviews, and you're going to be reviewing something we've already talked about.
Yeah.
All right. Let's at least play this.
Reviews.
All right, you're up.
I'm up first with Tekken 6. I mean, I've talked about it a bunch of times. I've pretty much withered down from like an extreme hardcore gamer to more of a casual gamer that really only picks up fighting games and sports games, and occasionally I'll get the big AAA title,
Right.
If it's really worth it. But I picked up Tekken 6. I remember getting it. When did it come out? It came out in 2009.
Wow.
October of 2009, I remember it was the second, I mentioned it earlier in the show, it was the second PS3 game I got. First being Metal Gear Solid 3. So, there are just a few main video game series that I'm a huge fan of. Metal Gear, Tekken, and Resident Evil. So I knew, I pre-ordered it, I picked it up, right after work, and I hated it. Tekken 6 was of all the Tekken games, it was like the most disappointing, in my opinion. And I kind of skipped Tekken 4 because, a lot was going on in my life at the time, and I just couldn't really, I wasn't really playing any games at all. But I heard Tekken 4 wasn't that popular or wasn't that great, because they changed a lot of stuff up, but, so I'm not counting Tekken 4, but Tekken 6 was pretty
good.
Well, it was disappointing in comparison to the others.
Oh.
But, I got it, played it a little bit, traded it in, and I picked it up recently, and it's been like my favorite fighter. So
yeah, that's not bad.
Now, pros, I mean, this game's graphics look amazing. The real-time fighting graphics and the full-motion video. I mean, Namco, they're really good at doing their CG. I watched, they did that, what is it, the Blood Vengeance movie or something like that, Blood. I mean, they're really good at their FMVs, and Tekken 6,
cool.
Tekken 6
Yeah.
looks really cool. It has this mode in there called Ghost Mode, which was introduced in Tekken 5. It's basically like a hybrid fake online mode, where you take your character, you go in and you play against AI with like randomized difficulty levels. And they have their own little like gamer tag, like fake randomized gamer tags and everything, and you fight, and you can get points and stuff towards that you can use to get some customization.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool stuff. It has online play in there, which is cool, especially if you're just by yourself and you don't have a whole lot of people to play with. And this game is just, there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of this Tekken game has the most characters in any Tekken game. Over 43 characters, tons. So my brother has a friend who's like a Tekken master. I've been a Tekken master all the way up until I met this guy. So we go at it. He beats me most of the time. You know, I give him a run for his money, but he's really tough. And I only have like 2 or 3 characters that I'm really good at that I've developed on over the years. He can pick any character and just wipe the
One
floor.
of those guys,
Yeah,
huh?
he can just pick any character and just wipe the floor with you. You can customize your characters. You can do, by those points that you get during Ghost Mode,
Right.
you can take a character and just make them look like
Anything you want. Yeah.
That's the character you can take online.
Oh, that's pretty
and
cool.
play, and so there's tons of variety. You can go on there and just
Right.
you'd be surprised who you're fighting because of the way people change up the characters. Huge customization. Now this game has a lot of cons, and this is why I kind of got rid of it when I first bought the game.
Right.
The load times really suck.
Long.
Yeah, they're long. So you remember in what was it? Soul Calibur.
Uh-huh.
Where the fight's introduced and you show Ivy facing Cervantes or something like that, and it shows
Right.
the 2 characters. Basically, it shows that screen like Kazuya versus Jin,
Right.
and it stays there for like 5 to 10 seconds,
Wow.
and then it goes into the game.
Huh.
So you can't play this game without installing it to the hard drive. That reduces the load times just a little bit.
Right.
I wonder if it's better on like the Xbox or anything like that, but I've only played it on the PS3 because I'm used to the PlayStation controller because that's where the game started out on.
Right.
The story mode for the Tekken series is withered down over the years.
There's almost nothing left now.
There's nothing left. You play through the game as your favorite character, and then you get like a little card with some words at the bottom.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
that was always one of the cooler
that was
parts
the
of
best part of like the Tekken games. You play
finding
the
out what
game,
was going on with Jin.
You see why they joined the tournament, and then you get a fulfilling FMV at the end of the movie or
Right.
at the end of the game, and it felt good. But here, nah, story mode completely sucks. Now that's the general story mode. Introduced in Tekken 3, there was a Tekken Force mode where it's kind of like a brawler.
Right.
Like
I remember that. It was like a arcade game.
yeah, and like an arcade game. And there have been 4 of them so far. There's Tekken Force mode in Tekken 3. There's one in Tekken 4. I never
Right.
played that one. And the third one was actually Death by Degrees, that Nina game,
Uh-huh.
that spin-off game that they just released by themselves. I never got to play that either, but yeah, that was the third one. The fourth one was in, I believe, Tekken 5, where you only played as Jin.
Right.
But this one, it sucked.
Bad.
It sucked bad. It wasn't fun. It wasn't. You could still run around like a brawler, but it was lacking.
Right.
I was just so disappointed. And the
that sucks.
overall game presentation sucked. Like, it took me about 5 to 10 minutes to figure out what I was doing when I first loaded the game up. Okay, how do I fight? Like the menu, it was just
Bad.
yeah. Like, I felt bad that I hyped up Tekken. I've been a huge Tekken fan over the years.
It let you
And
down.
it let me down. But nowadays, you can buy it for under $20.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Okay.
It's worth it.
If you're a fighting game
If
fan
you're
and
fighting-
or a Tekken.
If you're a Tekken fan, a fighting game fan, and you have people to play with, don't play this game by yourself, or you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Right.
But yeah, this game didn't become a great game to me until I had a whole bunch of people to play it with. So
I can see
it's
that.
worth it. It's worth it.
So I will probably never own it ever.
Probably not.
All right, my review is actually going to be on Ghost Recon Future Soldier. It's the newest Ghost Recon game. If you're not familiar, it's more of like the slower tactical shooting game as opposed to like the faster like Modern Warfare style. The pro to me is actually the slower pace. Like you actually, as you come upon a group of guys, you almost have to treat it more like a puzzle than a shooter. Because what you can do is you can line up sync shots with your other group mates, which can be human or AI. Which the AI is actually really amazing. Like they won't get caught. They will do what you're told.
Unlike Raccoon City.
Right.
We had to mention it. Sorry.
Yeah. I actually, one of the guys I work with, one of my friends, brought up a good point last week that you asked me how many Raccoon Cities I would give a game, and I said 40 million. So, just 40 million piles of crap. So, anyway, I really enjoyed it for what it was as a shooter. Like I said, the AI is really good. The slower pace is nice because you can kind of sit there and figure it out. And of course, Ghost Recon's known for its exceptionally large set pieces, so everything looks amazing. The cons, the graphics are a little older. The character models look pretty good and the action looks pretty good, but the environments don't look good at all. So
Seemed a little rushed, or
no, I think it's just the older engine. Like they had the cardboard grass that would fall and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a little old. The control scheme was a little rough in the fact that there's actually the older style double zoom, where you press the top one to go down the iron sights, and then you actually have to press the control stick in to actually zoom in to like the red dot. So that was kind of annoying. But other than that, the story I guess was kind of cliche as a shooter. You're stopping like the Russians, but if you're getting tired of the run and gun games, I definitely say try it out. Also, if you're a fan of the previous Ghost Recons, I definitely try it out. But you might want to wait for the price to drop.
Yeah.
$60 is a little steep. So, I don't know. You saw some of it.
I mean, it looked cool. I mean, I would definitely like to try it out. Maybe tonight.
Yeah.
I finished my chapter tonight, so.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. We'll figure something out. I will probably end up playing with some of this technology because it looks like my new camera is having problems. So I apologize if the video feed is kind of crappy. I can't figure it out if it's the camera or if it's the internet or what, but I'll figure it out and we'll fix it next week.
And the guest might join us.
I forgot Legion. Next week, Legion will be here along with the fixed camera issues. We're still looking for viewer questions. You can send your viewer questions to gamersdigestpodcast@gmail.com. You can check out our website at gamersdigest.me, where we post stuff. I try to post stuff at least every day, but it doesn't really happen, so kind of just check in once in a while. We also have a YouTube channel up now where you can watch the podcast videos as well as stream videos, guide videos once I get those all done, and pretty much anything else on there. So other than that, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Like I said, I apologize if the video wasn't very good. Hopefully you could at least hear us.
Hopefully. We're recording, right?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, good.
So I did get all of that. But we will see you guys next week.
Gamers Digest is a Spider One and Mr. Factastic production. Send your questions to gamersdigestpodcast@gmail.com. Intro music by MF Greth, ending music by Fapito. Check them both out at newgrounds.com.